Hello and welcome back to Warhammer Conquest issue number 9. Now, I know that the time this video will be released, it'll be a lot later than when it should have, and that's simply because I waited for my subscription before I picked this one up. So rather than kind of run out to the shop and buy an issue that I didn't really want to have multiples of, I thought I'd wait until I received it. Now, it has taken a lot of panning because we have repeat models, which are the POXWALKERs, before the 10th issue. But right at the back of this magazine explains why it's actually important to have, more than 10 models, especially if you start playing a 40k game itself. So, we have our contents page, as usual, and this is works very nicely with the folder, and I'll show you that at a later point. We have more information on POXWALKERs, more like a history and how they work. They come across as like undead. They're grateful for their gift. It's like a cross between like a plagued vampire and, I don't know, just like zombies. It's great fun. Here we have more history and the introduction to Demon Prince. So if you haven't seen these before, these are characters that have done, so much work for the entity that they follow, that they get transformed into like an aspect of that entity, gaining more power and immortality. Here we have a little bit of history again about the contamination of the pox, and all I can liken this is a plague. And if you think about a plague and illnesses, yeah, you can fight an enemy that's like got a physical body, and you can attack it and you can stop it. But when you have these small viruses and plagues coming on the back of vermin, and the plagues hit whole cities, and you can't hide and you can't move on, there's nowhere to hide. And some of these planets just totally get annihilated. It's called exterminatus. When Space Marines decide, you know what, we can't save a planet anymore, they just wipe the whole thing out of existence. Yeah, it's that kind of level. Okay, we have the map of the galaxy there, which shows you where they're spread and where they're going. I think that this would have looked so much more better as a double page spread, even though it's got the information there, but I think that would have been better. And then you've got like histories of the notable outbreaks. Now, you can use these as, story seeds, I call them. So you can use these as plots for your games or for your missions, and that's a lot of fun. You can recreate some historical battles, so to speak. POXWALKERs, we've got the instructions for building. Again, they're exactly the same as the models before. So let's just bring those in, just so you can see. Oops. So they are exactly the same. They are no different there. There's no issue with that because you can always paint them differently to give them a different look. If you remember, my POXWALKERs were kind of like a beigeish colour and kind of like inflamed, like yellow boils. Well, I might paint these ones green. I mean, they're your models, do as you please. There's no going wrong with them. The instructions there, exactly the same. Now, I know 1 or 2 issues ago, people complained about having multiple pages for building. But at the end of the day, if you've just bought this one magazine as a one-off, you wouldn't have those instructions before, so you would need them. So, there's no issues there for me. POXWALKERs, having a closer look at how to paint them. Again, same principle as before. Because imagine if you thought, okay, I'm going to give this a go. This is the first issue you can pick up. And you're standing there maybe in a Games Workshop, or you're out and about near a hobby store. You can go and pick up these paints. You can go and then follow the guide, and that might help you if you feel self-conscious about having to have everything the same as what you see. You'll just fit right in. You can go and play, be confident. For me, I don't mind how I paint my stuff. I like it to look good, but I like to make sure that I've got a story behind the colours, why I'm using them, what I'm doing. That's fine. However I choose to paint, there's no issue. I remember painting my first set of Marines purple and gold that I first ever got. I didn't know anything about it, but it turned out to be Emperor's Children. That was amazing luck. But anyway, here they're introducing the shading. And I do like the way they keep on going back to adding the steps to show you before. So if you had the issue with the wash, which I think I did the last video, even though it's a few issues ago, it shows you how to apply the washes, so you have everything pulled together. Battles. Here we have a finishing error, or a very smart tactical genius move by Hatchet. Because when they were punching out the holes for the binder, they actually punched out the face. Now with this model, which was the Lieutenant model, you had 2 heads. So I don't know if they did that for that. But either way, well played. Right, okay. So you've got combat versus a horde. And this is really important. You've got 12 Poxwalkers. Now, my favourite little cards. They talk about moving units in a group. This is really handy when you have horde characters. And there's been times when I've been utilising, like, you know, Tyranids. And let's face it, by the time you have Gaunts and you move them, there are so many. But it's a lot of fun. You've got fighting with larger units and then having a space within 1 inch for combat. That's handy, so you don't have to pile everything in. And you will be able to use this when it comes to the issue or the magazine which has the specialist character or the character for the Poxwalkers. Sorry, for the Death Guard. And you'll be able to chain them back, so you can form a chain back all the way to collect a buff. The same way, or the buff, which means like a special effect or an aura, just like the Lieutenant does here. More game settings, which seems fine. And we're talking about grenades. It's really strange. I think that this will be the time, if you are playing the Ultramarines characters, to really use your grenades. Because these guys aren't as tough, the Poxwalkers. So you get multiple hits with a single shot. It's well worth using. Blight grenades, they're fairly good to use if you want to rewound, if you like roll 1s and stuff. But this is handy. Now people are saying, well, you got 12 Poxwalkers and they come in units of 10. But Disease Horde, it says you can add 1 to all hit rolls for your Poxwalkers in a fight phase, as long as there are more than 10 models in the unit. So if you remember back to Overwatch, if you go charging in, you might lose 1 or 2 of these models. And if you lose 1 or 2, you still have more than 10, which means you still get that bonus. Which is why they've done this in 2 sprues and given you 12 models rather than just 10. Sneaky, sneaky, clever. Alright. So this was a fairly quick one because the model's already built, but we'll have a closer look at those. We've already gone through this, and a video is already up for these, and a video is already up for these guys. So please go and have a look at them if you haven't already seen them. We take time to look at them and really enjoy them. There's, well, going to be a narrative base for these guys that I'll be creating, which will probably be the next video. So, other than that, as I knock over all the models, they'll get back up. That's been Warhammer Conquest issue number 9. We'll have a quick look at the models before we go. Models as before, they still look good. There's very little kind of like points of interest because they're exactly the same as ones before. I still like the design work on these, and they remind me of the new kind of Geller Poxwalkers. But that's for another time. As always, if you see anything you'd like to add or let me know, I want to say thank you very much for the feedback that you guys have given me. I did wonder whether I should go back and do these videos because I felt like the time had passed. But you guys are very vocal and very adamant and very helpful. So I appreciate your time. As always, like, comment, share and subscribe. And this has been Spekd. PC out.